first let's get introduced to what is a project. See, even though many of you would be into core project management, still there is always a confusion between project and operations. I'm not going to go in detail, but just to have a glance of what a project is. A project is a temporary endeavor undertaken to create a unique product or service or result. We are not going to go into the detail. See, basically the project is you take up a job to complete the end product, can be a product, service or result. So to develop something, you start up an activity. It is not an ongoing work. You're going to start on a specific day and you're going to complete on a specific day. See, for example, I've given an examples here, construction of a new building. See, we start on a specific day to construct the building, and once the building is done, our project is done, then we are going to hand over the building to the client, right? And then likewise, like the website or construction of the metro, new software product, all these things starts on a specific day, and once you are done with the development, you hand it over to the customer, right? So this is, to make it simple, this is what is project. It is not ongoing, it just completes on a specific period or a time. This is project. Now, having understood project, so again, the project can be of two types. One is definable work and the other is highly uncertainty work. So what is definable work? See, when the requirement is very clear from the client, it can be internal client or an external client. When the requirement is very clear and you know exactly what is expected, then it is definable work, right? So for example, production of a car, electronic appliance, construction of a building, all these things, we know exactly what has to be built. So this is very clear. On the other hand, there are certain projects or work which is very dynamic. When I say dynamic, what does it mean? The requirements is not clear. There is high rate of changes. There is complexity and risk. What type of projects is uncertain? See, for example, development of a software application, a product. See, when you're going to build a ERP tool or even a website, simple as such, or anything where the requirement, like at the starting itself, we will not be sure like what or the client may not be sure end to end what exactly is the requirement. Maybe as the product has been built, he gets a clarity, and also there can be change in the technology, market conditions, all those things can be factors which makes the project very uncertain. So we saw there are two types of projects, right? Then we cannot have a single strategy or a single methodology to handle both these types of project. Then we have two methods. One is called as traditional method, though it can also be called as waterfall, and the other one is agile approach. So definable work, I said, right? When the requirements is very clear, then you are going to go by the traditional method where you determine the requirements upfront. You know what exactly is required. For example, you're going to construct a house, right? You know what is the square feet of the house, how many rooms are going to be there, what should be the size and shape of each of the rooms within the house. There may be few uncertainties, but on a larger scale, you know what exactly is the requirement, right? And if at all there is any changes, like the color of the paint or maybe the wardrobe where it has to be placed, so small changes, it has to go through the change control process, like getting the protocol, following the protocol of getting the approval. Then after the approval only, you're going to execute it. There are few more steps into that. So at a high level, you need to get an approval and only then you can implement it. On the other hand, I said, when the requirement is very uncertain, you are not very clear end to end what exactly, or the client is not clear end to end what exactly they require. In that case, we cannot have a complete plan at the beginning itself. Then what we can do, we can build the deliverable, the product in small pieces. See, for example, let's take the example of a banking tool, a customer usable tool, like a banking solution tool. So the client, let's assume like ICICI Bank, they may not understand or know exactly end to end what they want, but as the project proceeds, they get clarity. In that case, we are going to build the entire product into small pieces. So that is why we say, like, we are going to explore in short cycles. And when we keep building it in small cycles, we get clarity of what exactly is the requirement. So we are going to quickly adapt to the evaluation and the feedback. So client may say like, I need the statement has to be in the PDF format, PNG format, or anything, or this the image or the design of this page should not be in this way. So anything which we can quickly adapt and get the feedback, and we can continue building it. This is Agile. Anyway, we are going to see in detail. So as the uncertainty is not clear, there is uncertainty in the project, there is risk of rework. See, just imagine you build it and then the customer says, no, 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 I want in this way. Then you may have to rework. That's a bigger risk, right? So what we are going to do, we are going to build in small increments, right? So because of the high amount of uncertainty. And then this helps in what way? Agile method, we are going to reduce the waste, we are going to reduce the rework, because we are not going to construct the entire thing or build the entire thing. We are going to do it in small pieces. So it is going to help us to reduce. We cannot eliminate, but reduce the waste or the rework. How? Very short feedback loops. So just imagine you build a small part, you get the feedback and you implement the feedback. Again, when you are going to develop the other part, again this feedback is being implemented, right? So the feedbacks are going to be used in loops. Frequent adaptation of the process, which means like you keep building small parts, right? When there is changes or there is you identify some change in the process, then you getting adapted to the process, the change. Reprioritization. See, at the starting you may think something there are certain priorities, but as you keep building it, as you progress towards a project, there is reprioritize. You may reprioritize certain functions and features, so there is scope for reprioritization. And there you can regularly update your plans, because you're going to build in small chunks and there is going to be frequent delivery. See, I said, right, first one or two functions of the ERP tool, the banking solution we may build. So this we are going to give it to the customer. Let's assume that we are going to build only the facility of checking the bank balance and downloading the bank statement. So that we are going to build and we are going to give it to the customer. They are going to use it. And then the next chunk would be maybe to make payment and receive payment. So the entire project is going to be built in small pieces. So we are going to have frequent deliverables. Okay. So in what type of projects this agile works? When it requires a research or development, when it has high rate of change, when the client is not clear about his requirement, there is uncertainty and risk. Okay. And again, what is the final requirement? If the client is not aware, then it is better to go with the agile method.